again from Vegan to Evercat, and I'm so excited to bring you another video featuring an Adreno wetsuit. So thank you so much for sending me another wetsuit, Adreno. Clearly they liked how I reviewed the last wetsuit, and I loved that wetsuit so much that I cannot wait to try this one. I have been waiting to try since it came out. Now I'll get into the features of it in a little bit, but basically there are differences between these three types of wetsuits. Generally, a surfing wetsuit gives you a lot more movement in the shoulders and in the leg area to be able to swim. It's also generally thinner and doesn't do too well with compression under diving up and down. So it said if you want to go scuba diving and you wear a surfing wetsuit, after a few dives, the neoprene's just not going to hold warmth quite as well because of the compression. On the other side, scuba diving wetsuits are much like almost thicker neoprene because they're meant to be compressed. So their air pockets within are much smaller, so it doesn't allow as much compression, therefore it keeps the warmth at depth. So that's what you want from a scuba diving wetsuit. And then freediving wetsuits can either be open cell or closed cell. I can get into more details about the difference between open cell and closed cell because I have so many wetsuits you do not understand. Between me and my partner, we have every shape and size. Those are the three differences. This one is like a hybrid. So it's in the shape of a freediving wetsuit, meaning it comes in two parts. A lot of scuba diving wetsuits also come in two parts like this. With the bottom part being kind of like a long john, so that gives extra warmth on the chest area and all your vital organs that you want to keep warm. And then the top part is not like a scuba diving wetsuit, but you simply just put it over your head like a freediving wetsuit. So these ones have beaver tails because that minimizes, again, the amount of water that can get through any zip. Since you're going up and down a lot, it gives you more streamlined fit because your wetsuit is tucked in beaver tail style. And yeah, so that's the general shape of the wetsuit. Now, the specifics of this wetsuit. Can you tell I'm excited? Just wanting to try it is the inside. Now, if you look at the inside, it's a really strange material. It feels very silky, yet neoprene-y. And that is because it's not a traditional closed cell wetsuit, which I can show you. This is a traditional closed cell wetsuit on the inside. So they look very similar. However, this one actually holds more warmth. Now, I'm not exactly sure how they did this, but it's called a glide skin. If you look at an open cell, you have this neoprene kind of thick band here, and then it turns into this other material in here. Can you see that difference? So that one's a lot more smooth. So this one feels like a combination of the two. Now with the open cell, you need to get it wet and soapy to be able to get in and out of it, otherwise it sticks to your skin. You don't need to do that with this glide skin material. So personally, I never wanted to get an open cell because I'm a massive wuss. And there's nothing I could imagine worse than having to get my wetsuit wet before getting into it. Again, I live in a very hot part of the world, so I know it's not a big deal, but to have an option which doesn't require getting wet before you put it on, 10 out of 10. Another downside of the open cells is that they're extremely sensitive. And as someone who wears a lot of rings and doesn't always cut their their fingernails in time, I'm scared I'd rip it. And my partner has actually ripped his pants, which is not ideal, because you need to be extremely gentle with the open cell. This one, you don't need to be so gentle. I wore it non-stop for 10 days. I mean, I ripped it on and off of me for like every day, at least 2 times, and it's still in perfect condition. So it glided on really easily like a closed cell, but in some parts, like with the bottoms, when I took it off the first time, there was patches which were still dry. So that's more like the open cell, where it's so stuck to your body, and it's got these like these seals around the ends, so the end, like the armholes and the leg holes kind of have that open cell material, the very edges. So there's minimal water flow going in and out. As I'm saying, in the pants, I even had sections of me which were completely dry after diving for 3 hours. And yeah, it's amazing. Then in terms of the additional little points, it has a cool little GoPro mount on the head. I didn't use this because I don't have the appropriate GoPro mount thing to go in here, and because I also just got a GoPro, what's this called? A GoPro mask, which I could attach the GoPro to my head. So I didn't really need it in my hood, but if I didn't have the GoPro mask, I would have used this. I didn't know this was there until I got it. Then on the back, there's also these two little sections where you can put weight pockets. So it's only 1 pound maximum, which is not that much weight. However, you can just chuck them in there and that will just give you a bit of a better balance. Now this wetsuit also has a neoprene pad in the middle, as you can see here. So that is an extra thickness of a pad. So for anyone who likes to spearfish, they have this pad built in, but you can't really see it. So it's not like very obvious. Can you see it on there? So you're not like, bam, in the face, I'm a spearfisher person. But you can still spearfish if you want, because that provides padding for your chest. So it's really lovely, comfortable, black sleek material. I got the 3.5. To be completely honest with you guys, I thought I was going to be freezing on this trip. That's why I asked them to send me a 3.5, and they did. I underestimated how warm this wetsuit is, because I've worn other 3.5s and I got cold. But with this combination of the long johns and this hood on top, it was just simply too warm. So for majority of the trip, I actually just used the top. Now, that's what makes this wetsuit extra cool as well. Because it comes in 2 parts, I can just save this for when it gets colder and then wear my long johns with my top. But in this case, when it was quite warm at 25, 26 degrees, I simply just wore the top. Now, if I wanted to be all Instagram fashion, I didn't have to wear, bottoms. For most of this trip, I actually just wore a random pair of leggings underneath, and you can fit it with any pair of leggings. Or if you're a boy, you can have board shorts, because this wetsuit comes in women's and men's. It comes in only 4 sizes, I think, for the women's. This is a size 10. And it gives you measurements for your height and your weight. Now, I would say if you're unsure, send them an email and they would love to help you out, get your specific size. Because for me, my height is like 175 centimeters and my weight is about 65 kilos, which is pretty tall and pretty heavy. So according to the diagram, I would be an extra large. However, I was unsure if that would fit me, particularly because I'm generally a size 8 to 10. So I sent them an email and they told me that the size 10 would be a better fit, and they were right. It fit like a glove. It was so comfortable. It provided minimal resistance. I didn't need to have too many weights with it, even though at the beginning of any wetsuit's life, you will need maybe a little bit more weight than later on, because when it's brand new, it's just extra buoyant. And yeah, that was my diving with this wetsuit. So on the 10 days on the boat, we were probably in the water for at least 2 hours every day, and I was nice and comfy warm in this for free diving. And then for scuba diving, I thought about wearing the pants as well, but we just did like 3-4 dives, and they were quite short, so they were only 30 minutes. So I was fine in just the top and then some of those leggings to protect myself from the sun. But that kept me adequately warm. Now, they make these wetsuits in 3 different thicknesses. So they have like a 1.5 kind of general rashy suit, then they have the 3.5, and then they have the 5. Now, I will say the one thing about it, again, another reason I underestimated the warmth was because of the hood. Now, for divers out there, putting a hood on any wetsuit really just elevates the warmth factor, because a lot of your heat escapes from your head, and this hood is so insulating. this outer edge minimizes the flow. So there were actually times when I was too hot. Now, I've rarely experienced this underwater, but I actually had to open up my little hood flaps and let water in because I was getting too warm on my head. Now, that's a fantastic problem to have as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, I am so impressed with how warm this is and how durable it is and how easy it was to get on and off. In general, I love the look of it as well. Sorry, I don't have too much footage of me wearing the full outfit, simply because I was too warm, because I underestimated the amazing warmth of this wetsuit. But I highly recommend, if you are looking for a good versatile wetsuit that you can use for everything, check out these Saltskins. They're quite reasonably priced. They're that happy in between open cell and a closed cell. And again, let me know if you want me to do a tour of my wetsuits and explain the whole difference between Lycra and then 3 mils and 5 mils and open cells and closed cells and semi-dries and dry suits. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little video and some of my footage from the magical Coral Sea. And yeah, if you're in Australia, check out Adreno, check out this wetsuit. If you're not in Australia, maybe they can ship to you. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, absolutely adore this wetsuit and I'm looking forward to wearing it here, where it's a little bit colder than it was on the Coral Sea. But yeah, it was magical. I'm editing lots of vlogs and things from the Coral Sea trip. I don't know when this is going to go up versus the other vlogs and the Christmas content. There's just so much going on. But I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing great. And I'll see you guys in the next video.